Well, greetings to you. I don't think I've ever made a video with quite such a heavy heart as I make this. I'm going to talk about the coronation, and I'm going to talk about King Charles, who might go down in history, I suspect, as Charles the Woke, or Charles perhaps the Gullible. I don't know, but I am old enough to remember the coronation of Her Majesty in 1953. We watched it on a very small television, little bush set, and not many people had televisions in those days, and they came into our house to watch it a long time ago. And then we went down to the end of the street and we waved our Union Jacks. We waved and waved as she drove by. The rain was steaming off the pavements then. The sun came out, it was raining in the morning, and I remember it very well. It was my first memory, I think. That and the Lynmouth floods of the same year. Now, we have a problem. We have a political king, steeped in politics, and it is not in our constitution to have a political king. Now, I'm a true believer in a constitutional monarchy, and I have been all my life. I held the Queen's Commission, so did my father, and so did various other members of my family. We are monarchists. We're not Republicans. We're monarchists. But the monarch comes with responsibility outside politics, and that is to protect our constitution, our way of life, and the Christian faith. And he's head of the Anglican Church. He is actually the Archbishop of Canterbury's boss. Now, I worry. He has, on many occasions, King Charles endorsed our membership of the European Union, although his mother sidestepped it, ignored it, hoped it might go away because it was contrary to her coronation oath. Be that as it may, Her Majesty is gone, and I think perhaps with it the monarchy, or long-term future of the monarchy. I made a video on the marriage day of Harry and Meghan. It's still on my website if you want to have a look at it. And I said then, no good will come of this, because Meghan was under the impression she had been elected as some kind of Democratic senator for California. That was her take on it. She was too naive or stupid to understand what being a royal duchess actually meant. She didn't get it, still doesn't get it. And of course, we all know now that things ended in tears. I didn't clap or wave my Union Jack or watch stuff on the TV because it was all nonsense. I knew it was nonsense at the time. And sadly, I was proved right yet again. I feel the same way this time. No good will come of this man being king. He believes in wokery, fake science, and I'm going to show you some clips that go along with that, just in case you think I'm imagining it.
The green recovery represents an unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live and do business. I have long believed that we need a shift in our economic model that places nature and the world's transition to net zero at the heart of how we operate. Having been championing climate action now for the last, 40 years, by leveraging market forces and the immense resources of the private sector, there is hope that we can transform the situation. But I'm afraid we are literally at the last hour, and there is real urgency for action. We know now what we have to do to rescue the situation, rather than going on talking about it.
He interfered with the government's very weak idea to curb illegal immigration. His realm is being overwhelmed every day by illegal immigrants, of which he mentions nothing. Christians across the globe are being murdered in huge numbers. He mentions nothing. He seems obsessed only by chumming up with the world's oligarchs. It's my view, and he's photographed, and his son is photographed on the World Economic Forum platform on many occasions. And he talks in glowing terms of his friend, Klaus Schwab, and all the rest of it. And he's in favour of all the eco-fascism that we're now facing. He endorses the concept of 15-minute towns and all the rest of it. He has the weak gene pool that first really raised its ugly head with Edward VIII. One might argue that it went before that with Edward VII, perhaps a little bit, but I wouldn't say that because Edward VII was a bon vivant. He liked women. There was nothing wrong with him, particularly. Okay, we can live with a king like that. We can live with a king who's maybe a bit of a rake, a bit of a philanderer. That's not really an issue. But what must be done is we must have our constitution protected. And I shall be watching him like a hawk, and I shall be watching his coronation oath like a hawk. I don't trust him. I don't trust him 1 inch. I don't believe he's actually a Christian. I think he pays lip service to Christianity, and that's one of his major constitutional roles. He couldn't make his marriage work. In spite of all his money and all his houses, he still couldn't make his marriage work with one of those popular princesses of Wales we've had maybe for 70 or 80 years. I could be proved wrong, and my goodness me, I really do hope I am proved wrong. But I do say again, as I said with the marriage of Meghan and Harry, this is significantly more important. No good, I think, will come of this.
King Charles, I have to get used to saying King Charles now, who has just given his royal assent to new laws in the UK that okay the idea of gene-edited foods being unlabeled and undifferentiable from normal foods. King Charles not only was the person who literally launched the Great Reset. When the World Economic Forum had their launch party, it was King Charles who did that launch and was the first speaker.
The time to act is now.
King Charles goes around the world jet-setting, of course, flying his private jets with all of his attendants. He has something like 120 staff who look after everything, including setting the bath temperature to just the right way and putting the bath plug in just the right position, cooking several different eggs for him every morning so he can find one with just the right consistency, traveling around with his own personal toilet seat, all of course the stupid royal nonsense. But also, he travels around with and not only his personal chefs, but his personal food supply, which is organic food only, because he will not touch the very stuff that he's trying to foist on the rest of us. But don't worry, guys. As part of One Health and as part of the UNEP, quadripartite, whatever they're going to thrust down your throat, they're going to say that this is in the name of protecting Mother Earth from those horrible, horrible farms that are producing all this horrible greenhouse gas emission. You guys are eating meat. Oh, you're eating all these horrible, you're contributing to the end of nature. What you need is this bioengineered, lab-produced gunk from these corporations that have monopolized that industry. That's what's good for you. Just don't look to us to be eating it. No, that's for you guys, the plebs out there.
As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research-based, and I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I'll automatically share it with you. So, surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.